case you haven't noticed, Hollywood is kind of on fire right now. I just did a whole video talking about how streaming essentially broke the industry. I mentioned how Hollywood is in this hellish cycle where as cord cutting keeps increasing and streaming services get more popular, less people start going to the theater, which is causing studios to double down on IP, which explains all the constant sequels and reboots that we've been getting. And you really understand just how bad everything is right now. Like, the industry is in a bad place right now. But there's something else I didn't mention in that last video. Something huge. And that's every writer and now every actor is on strike. That means nothing can film right now. Nothing can stay in production. No one can write any scripts. No one can act in any movies or shows right now because the entire industry is shutting down. What do I mean by shutting down? Well, let me show you a list of TV shows that are already delayed thanks to the writer's strike. Stranger Things 5, The Last of Us Season 2, the next Euphoria season, and the new Daredevil Disney Plus show are all delayed because of the writer's strike. And now that the actors are going on strike, everything that's filming right now is about to shut down. So Hollywood is in pretty dire straits right now. Like, it's not looking good. But if you're confused about why the actors and the writers are striking, why everything has to shut down, what's happening, why does it seem like Hollywood is constantly falling apart with constant negative headlines in the news these days? Well, that's what this video is about. I'm going to explain to you why the actors and writers are going on strike, what this can mean for the industry, and where we're going from here, because there's a lot to get into. But before we get into this video, if you give this video a like, that would really help the algorithm share this video out to more people. Also, please make sure to subscribe to this channel to never miss out on a single video. Alright, let's get into it. Up next. Now, to understand why writers and actors are on strike, you first need to understand how they used to get paid. I know we're about to get into another history lesson. It's going to be brief. Just stick with me. Back in the good old days of Hollywood, actors and writers would not only get a huge upfront fee for their work, but they would also get a lot of money on the back end. Show me the money! Show me the money! For example, if you had a big hit TV show like Friends, you would get paid for the reruns on that channel now that the show's been syndicated. The money they made from syndication was called residuals. And make no mistake, these residuals can be significant. For example, according to USA Today, all of the Friends cast members still receive 2% of their syndicated revenue, which equates to about $20 million per person per year. So residuals can be a lot of money. Basically, it used to be, if you got a really big hit TV show, you were pretty much set for life because that syndicated money was gonna pretty much carry you for a long time. And if you had a successful movie, you would also make money from residuals on DVD sales and the movies getting sold to TV channels to also play as reruns. But as I mentioned in my previous video, not a lot of people are buying DVDs right now, so residuals for those are going down too. Make no mistake, a lot of actors depended a lot more on residuals than their upfront payment for projects. And that's how it was for years. But as I mentioned in my previous video, everything changed when streaming came around. So how did streaming change everything? What happened? Well, in order to boost the library for all of these streaming services, they had to put a lot of really old shows and a lot of old movies on there so that they have a catalog for people to watch. But the thing is, the residuals actors get from their projects being on streaming pales in comparison to the residuals they were getting from playing on traditional TV. Really, the only people who was getting the money from all of these shows and movies being on these streaming services is the studios. The actors and the writers and the people who actually work on these shows are getting a tiny fraction of that amount, and that's kind of what they're upset about. And to make matters worse, a lot of streaming shows and movies don't get physical copies. They just stay digitally on their streaming services forever, or almost forever. So there's not even hopes that you could get residual pay from someone buying, say, the box set of your TV show, because that's not happening anymore. And the upfront pay for streaming services isn't that great either. For example, there was a recent report that just came out that said that the actors on Orange is the New Black complained that they were getting paid pennies even though the show was a huge success. And the residuals are also terrible. We have the clearest example here with Emma Miles, who was an actress on the show that admitted recently that she only got $20 a year in residuals for 54 episodes of being on Orange is the New Black. 54 episodes, and she only gets about $20 a year in residuals from that. That's it. To put that into perspective of just how bad and how low that really is, she said that for just 4 episodes of doing Law and Order, she got paid $600 a year. You can kind of see just how bad the residuals are for streaming versus traditional television. And to be very, very clear, most actors in Hollywood are not super rich. It's only like the top 1% of actors that are the multimillionaires that you know. Most actors are just like average people like you and me who are just trying to get by. In fact, I just saw a recent article that said that most writers right now in Hollywood have to work second jobs as service workers just to get by. So a lot of the service workers that you see in and around Hollywood are actually part of these unions that are striking. But wait, there's more. If you thought it was already bad, oh, you sweet summer child, it's about to get a lot worse. Because we are now living in the future.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow! Why do you always have to say it that way?
Science fiction is no longer fiction. Artificial intelligence is a real problem we actually have to deal with today. And that is the other big issue that actors and writers are fighting studios on right now. What do we do about AI? In fact, Deadline just posted an article saying that AI was one of the biggest sticking points in these strikes. So it is like one of the biggest issues that everyone is fighting over. The problem for writers is studios want to use chatbots like ChatGPT to write an original draft for a script and then just hire a worker as like a gig worker to come in and punch the script up and make it different enough that it can pass for copyright, which basically in their eyes justifies paying the writer less since in their mind the AI did most of the work. So obviously they're against that. And with actors, well, all I have to do is refer to the episode Joan is Awful, which is the Black Mirror episode. So I think you can guess where this is going because the plot of that episode is literally what's happening real life right now. Spoiler alert, by the way, I'm about to give away the whole thing. But the episode basically gives you an example of what it would be like if a studio had complete and total legal control over a celebrity's likeness, to the point where they no longer could control what they were seen doing on screen. All they would have to do is scan their body, and the studio had a complete deepfake that they can use to do whatever they want. And that's exactly what studios in real life want to do as well. Think that sounds crazy? Well, literally, as I'm filming this, we just got news that dropped that studios literally want to scan actors so that all they have to do is pay them once for coming in to scan their body, and then they can use that actor's likeness for the rest of time and they don't have to pay them again. Literally the plot of Joan is Awful, but in real life. Like, that's where we're at with technology right now. And the thing is, studios have already been trying to test the envelope with taking actors' likenesses and using it for their own purposes. This just happened recently with The Flash. There was a cameo in the movie where the guy literally had to go on social media and was like, I don't think I was on set for that, yet he was on screen as a cameo. The studio just used his likeness without the actor's permission and they didn't even tell him about it. This is the type of stuff that actors are trying to fight and get ahead of. So now, all of this is coming to a head in 2023 where a lot of writers and actors are saying enough is enough, and they're finally fighting back against the studios. And that's why they're all going on strike now to force their hand to concede on a number of issues regarding residuals and AI. And a number of other issues too, but those are the two big ones. And all these strikes are coming at a time where Hollywood is already facing a number of issues, the ones that I talked about in my previous videos, like the fact that all these movies keep flopping at the box office now, the fact that streaming isn't making any money, the fact that people keep cutting the cord so less and less people are watching traditional TV, so it's just a lot going wrong all at once, and Hollywood is just like really tense right now. And if you really want a good idea of just how much the SAG strike in particular is going to affect Hollywood going into the future, well, here is a list of movies and shows that will immediately have to shut down from filming because of the SAG strike. And I'm talking huge productions like Deadpool 3 with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. They just started filming like not too long ago, but because they're a union, they're part of SAG, Deadpool 3 is gonna have to shut down, and that's likely gonna get delayed. Beetlejuice 2 with Jenna Ortega is also gonna have to get delayed since they're still filming. The Wicked movies are likely gonna get delayed because Wicked as well is still filming. Even the Gladiator reboot with Pedro Pascal, that's also currently filming and will likely have to be delayed. Mix this with the other high-profile shows I also mentioned are already delayed because of the writer's strike, and you can see how this is just like painting a really dark, picture for where the industry is at right now. Apparently, the studio execs are willing to let writers go homeless and starve in order to meet their gains, and they were willing to let that go to print, which is crazy to me. Like, they're literally saying the evil part out loud. They were literally like, oh, we're just wait until they're homeless. We can outlast them. Like, haha, we're Satan. I don't think these strikes are going to end anytime soon, since the studios seem to think that they don't really need the creatives and they can just outlast them, so don't expect these strikes to end anytime soon. And with all these delays coming and all these productions having to stop, there's going to be a point, particularly next year, where there's just not going to be a lot of Hollywood content coming out. Not a lot of movies, not a lot of shows, not a lot of anything. So I think this could be the moment where we see social media and YouTube and gaming really take off. I think how the pandemic made more and more people want to stay home and stream things over going to theaters is the same thing with the strikes. I think with strikes preventing all these movies and shows from coming out, I think more and more people are going to turn to other forms of entertainment, and I think that could end up becoming a lasting habit if this strike goes on for so long. That's just my theory though. I don't have a lot of hard analysis for that, but just based off of how I'm looking at people's habits and how things are changing, that's what I think is going to happen. I don't mean for this episode to be a downer. I really love movies. Obviously, I have a movie channel, but just looking at the industry and where things are at right now, I have to say, I've never seen Hollywood in such a dark, desperate place, and it's kind of sad. And also, to make matters worse even more, even for the movies and shows that are able to come out that are already finished filming, actors, due to the SAG strike, won't be able to promote their works, like at all, not even a social media post. So a lot of the movies coming out later this year aren't going to get a lot of promotion, which is probably going to affect their performance in the box office. So that's not good. And on that note, I would like to introduce a new segment to the video, which I'm calling the Member Question of the Day, where I ask members of the channel on the community page questions about topics relevant to the videos I'm working on, so that you might have a chance to get your question answered in one of my videos. And that's what I'm introducing today. We have a member question from the legendary movie critic who says, how can movies and shows that are finished and completed be released without any promotion or marketing? That's a great question, legendary movie critic, and thank you for being a member. So unfortunately, none of the actors or writers on any of these projects are going to be able to promote their movies and shows, but directors still can. The studios obviously are going to have to do majority of the marketing on their own, since the actors are not going to help them. So you'll still see like trailers still coming out. You'll see posters and things like that, but you're never going to see any actors talk about the movies. You're not going to see any actors on any talk shows or on any interviews, because they can't do that. Thank you for the question. And if you too want to become a member and have the opportunity at getting one of your questions in a video, just click the join button at the bottom of the screen to become a member now, support the channel, and maybe in the next video you'll be the member question of the day. But yes, I hope you liked the video. I hope that it was informative for you. I covered a lot. Hope nothing was confusing. I hope I explained myself well. I just thought it would be really interesting to explain why all these strikes are happening, because you might be having questions. If you have any friends that are like, why are they striking? Why are my movies coming out? Why is everything being delayed? Just send them this video. It'll explain everything they need to know. But before we end this video, I do want to give a shout out to all my new members who just joined the channel. I want to give a shout out to Josh Loves Movies, Chloe, Wolfie, John Miwa, Dayton Southpaw, Natanya Mullings, Tegan and Hoperoni, Soggy Concha. Thank you all for joining and becoming members of the channel. It means a lot. Again, if you want to become a member of the channel, just click the join button at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to be having lots of community posts over on the community page. You're going to get a shout out, and you'll have a chance at getting a question on one of these videos. So if you want to support the channel and get a few extra benefits, consider becoming a member. But yeah, if you like the video, please make sure you like it. It really does help the channel. Also, please make sure you subscribe to never miss out a single video. I also do multiple live streams every week. So if you want to join me on my live streams, I do one every Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so join me then. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.